1, 2, and
Cecilia's Winery.
3.
Well, stay there. We'll get
Lars.
it. Good?
Yes, you want another, just in case?
Ready?
Always ready.
All right, 1, 2, and
A handsome couple.
3.
Handsome couple.
Thank you.
All right, one.
You need a picture
It's
of you,
us.
Rick?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to get in front of the city?
No, please don't go on that bench. Uh-oh, Maria's here.
Good morning. No, I'll show you why. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
So that's easy to break a leg, literally. I push it right. Okay, everybody, good morning.
Morning.
How are you this morning? Okay, I'm Maria. I'm the twin sister of Cecilia.
You guys dress the same.
Really?
Maria.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, coincidence. If you want to sit down, we start the morning together. Please make yourself comfy. Anybody feels like here, lending a sweater from me, let me know and I'll be happy to help, because very often I go with and when people stay here and then they go to Rome and are still chilly, I say, leave it in the hotel in Rome, I'll pick it up whenever I go there. Okay? Okie dokie? We are going to do a group photo later. Yeah. I am a member of the family who owns this winery since a little longer than 150 years. What I will do now is give you some information about the vines, the wines, when and how was first wine produced in this region, and then some information about this winery. So the winery, Le Velette, is located in the heart of the region where the Orvieto wines have been produced for many years. And the Etruscan population is the one that started the wine production in this region around 700 years before Christ. And this is because we have a very good soil called tufa or tufa in English. And it's a stone which we get from Bolsena. There is a lake nowadays, but it used to be a volcano many years ago. And anywhere you have volcanoes around, you have this kind of soil, which is a very good soil to grow the grapes because it's spongy, so retains the water during the rainy season, feeds the vines with the passing of time during the dry season. It's a stone that has a very high minerality in it, so the minerality goes all the way from the soil into the vines, into the grapes, and into the wine later. And it's a stone that has this very soft, so that gave the possibility to the Etruscans to carve their cellars using hands, rocks, wooden pieces, whatever they had available back then. And in a tufa cellar we have a constant temperature which goes from 55 to 60 Fahrenheit. It never changes, and this is the ideal temperature for wine fermentation and wine maturation. And I really, really hope that once you leave this place, you think that you had a wine experience, not just a wine tasting. But to get into this idea of the wine experience, I need to have you jump with me in what I call the dangerous space in life. What is that? When we have something that belongs to antiquity, we have a very strong attraction to that item building. Why that? Because this is our past. This is our roots. And very often you think that my roots are not your roots, and this is wrong. And when you think that this is our roots and not yours, that's not correct. You have no idea about how many things we have in common. How do we say in English, or how do you say in English, when you want to say that you reach a very important moment in your life? And where do you think that comes from? The milestones which were located along the ancient Roman streets. You see? And don't you have a Capitoline building in the United States? That's Roman history. And how many of our contemporary laws are based on the ancient Roman law? Many, all over the world. So you can see that this is our past. And you know how do we say in Italy when we want to say that we found a very profitable business? We say that I found America.
Down in the cellar of Cecilia's Winery.
Take a picture of the oasis.
Yeah. This was 1981. Family wine covered with tufa dust. So this is between Florence and Rome. I think she said it was 700 acres overall, a winery. 400,000 bottles a year. Going off of Night Shop.
I remind you, if you have big purses of backpack, please put them over there because we need to move in the room with the glasses, so it will be very uncomfortable if you have something big. That will be an impediment. Now, I mentioned you that this building was renovated each time someone we bought the winery, and the fresco on the ceiling was done in the middle of the 19th century by Pier Vettori when my ancestors bought the winery. Pier Vettori was a very popular artist back then, and the fresco on the ceiling, he decided what to paint, represents, surprise, surprise, the wine guest. Bacchus, the god of wine, and Marianna, the spouse of Bacchus. While in the ceilings, on the two corners, we have the family crests of the capo who bought the winery. The wing belongs to the family Felici, the lion belongs to the Counts Pandolfi Alberici. You remember the Bulls are aristocracy, so she was the wife, he was the husband. When we marry, in Italy we keep our names, but the children, get the name from the father's side, or got. Because since 2 weeks you can choose whether to give to your children the name of the mother or the name of the father. By the way, I mentioned you that if you allowed me to do so, we had a guest today on the bus and on the night walk. This is Teresa.
Buongiorno.
She speaks English. And she can't wait to practice. So just in case you have questions, you can ask her questions because she speaks English.
Who's nicer, Cecilia or Maria?
She doesn't know the difference.
So, how are you related? My aunt and I am the daughter of his brother. Brother's daughter.
Who lived
The
on
one at the farmhouse when we first came here?
Exactly.
Oh.
Tell me her name again.
Teresa.
Teresa.
Tracy, that would be. Teresa, sorry. If you have a spouse, you cannot exclude the spouse, so the spouse gets 70% of what you have. That can be reduced to 50% unless if you write down a will, and the rest goes to the closest relative or to whomever is in your wills. If you have no spouse and a child, it goes to the child. If you have one spouse, of course, you can't have more than one spouse, and one child is 50-50. If you have a spouse and more than a child is 1/3 of your spouse, and 2/3 split among the children. If you can prove that you are a child of somebody, even if you're not official, with the DNA proof, you have the same rights as the other children. So let's suppose that I'm the daughter, which I'm not, that I'm not of Pavarotti, and I can prove that I'm the daughter of Pavarotti. I can claim for the same rights as the other children. It can be different if while I was alive as a parent, I gave already to some of the children something like, I bought a house to one, not to the others. I can prove that. So this one already had that much. In my family, this is the situation. We are 4 siblings. The first one is my sister. She's single, 100%, has no children. Then there is my brother, her father, who's married and has 2 children. Then there is another brother who has a forever girlfriend. That means they don't live together, so they are not married, they have no children, so for the law she is nobody. And then there is me, I'm married and I have no children. So we have all different situations. So in my case, if I get 1/4 of what is the winery, I have to leave to my husband 70% and then the remaining 30% goes to the closest relatives, or I can reduce that to 50% and the other 50% goes to the closest relatives. For this reason, what I tell Teresa and her brother is always behave. Get water at a well. The well would be very often polluted because any animal could fall into the well, and in case the animal would fall into the well, you could have viruses, bacteria, and whatever you wanted.
Got it.
Don't get my nose off from here. I always try to hide it. Oh. Anyway, if any virus or bacteria would be produced into water, because the animal would die, you would drink your own poison. This is why wine was a very important drink, because wine has no oxygen, and for this reason there is no virus and no bacteria that can survive into wine. That would be me 100 years ago, or her 100 years ago. We would go at a fountain or well, carry this heavy jar on our head, walk a mile, back and forth, to get that much water. So this is why wine was so important in terms of calories provided. What was also a good calories provider in the past was olive oil, and it still is. Olive oil is produced very much in the south and in the center of Italy. Why not in the north? Because the olive trees do one, warm weather and hilly areas. So not in the flat regions. The south has big olive trees. The olives do fall on the ground when they are very mature. You crush them and you get a very strong olive oil. The center, which is Lazio, Umbria, Marche, Toscana. Then we have also Lake Garda, and we have Riviera Ligure, around Genova. They produce olive oil from smaller trees. The olives are hand-picked, and what you get is a much smoother and lighter olive oil. The first pressing is called extra virgin. It is low in acidity. The second pressing is virgin. The third pressing is olive oil, and the fourth pressing is something you should never have. Now, how can you recognize a good olive oil from a mediocre olive oil? This is a bottle that is half a liter. All right? This should be in your country from $12 up. If you ever see in your country a bottle of olive oil this size, or even a tin, that says from the hill towns of Tuscany, and it costs $6, $5, $7, I can promise you that the olives used to make that specific olive oil have never seen Tuscany even on a postcard. This is olive oil which is bought by industrial people. They buy the poor quality ones from the northern African countries. They addition it with seed oil, color it with chlorophyll, and all of a sudden there is what I call the Sagadula Mexicabula Bibidibabula. It turns into olive oil from Tuscany. So that is a fraud. For this reason I encourage you that once you buy olive oil, try to buy olive oil produced by olives farms or wineries. Now it's a Sangiovese and Cabernet Sauvignon blend. It's called Calanco. It's 65 Sangiovese, 35 Cabernet Sauvignon, ages 12 months into the oak barrels, called Barrique, and it's a wine that has won several awards all over the world. This is a wine that is nice because it's robust, full of body and personality, but it's also smooth and velvety.
The Velette Winery, that's where we are right now. Here's the vineyards.
Molto bene.
Where they unload bushels of fruit that you can take with you.
Yeah, where was that?
If you have room for two, you can do 4 bushels. Yeah, I grabbed it because of good quality. You can go with that silver. Oh yeah, it looks like I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I was asking her.
I'm talking about mechanical picking, which you should know better.
Hello.
Look at your hands.
Oh, I've been in Italy.
Hello, honey. Are you going to buy that castle for me? I guess it's a church.
Probably not.
Probably not. Oh, what a lovely day.
Oh, it's nice. The sun just came out. Everyone's pretty cold here. It's probably about 55 degrees. And there's that little black cat who was really nice to me, and I was really having a good time with him, and then he started biting the hell out of my hand.
I love the cocaine.
That's true.